Welcome to Bull ASMR Storytime. This is the Bull. It got to warm up my voice, you know what I'm saying? Got to get some lubrication. I'm sucking up water through a straw. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's that natural spring water. It's kind of a little foreshadowing story, you know, to this. Because it's a story about Spike. Yeah. Yes, that's right. And the Spike has to have water to live, you know what I'm saying? He's out on the desert. So I'm like drinking enough water for him. Gonna have to pee in a few minutes or so, you know, I might take a break. Yeah, let me catch my breath. Too much sucking on the water tuft on the straw. It makes me, I can't breathe. Okay, this is a story of Spike. Yeah. Once upon a time, there was a place, you know, that was very hot. There wasn't much water to be found, you know. I pretty much drank it all right then. Bulldozer. But out there in the hot desert, lived a cactus. Now this wasn't an ordinary cactus. This cactus, he wore a purple vest, brown shorts, and he had a red blossom on its head, like a toupee. You know, it's one of them hair pieces, like a wig for guys. Yeah, toupee. Bull don't wear one. Bull's got a full head of hair. That's right, man. His body was green, with some thorns sticking out of him. You know, he had one under his arm that had to hurt, you know. He, you know, has to throw his yard dart things, and he's like throwing them, and he throws it, and that thing sticks him, but yet he doesn't make a sound. I'd be like squealing like a little girl. Ow! But he don't say nothing, you know, stuff like that. And what if he had one in his ear, you know, poking out? He couldn't get close to his girlfriend, you know. She wanna lay his head on her shoulder, or her head on his shoulder, and that had to hurt her, you know. She wanted to kiss him in the ear or something, and that thing would go poke him right in the ear bone. Yeah, that'd be funny. Bulldozer. So, he was a small town cactus, you know, sheriff from a long line of sheriffs. You know, he had his great grandpa, you know, 'cause they don't live long. They're only cactuses, you know, they don't live but maybe, 8, fifth 20 years or something like that. Anyway, so the generations tend to be kind of short. You know what I'm saying? So he had his great. That's that one. That one more. I think it's a great. Yeah. Granddad, who was a sheriff. And, and he had many brothers and sisters too, of course. They had to populate this town. But, they died so fast because they just, they didn't live long. So they always had to keep multiplying. Had a cactus boom. You call this guy's boomers. Yeah, there was a cactus. He's a typical boomer. Yeah, it's a funny joke you kids like to tell us older guys. Shut up. Anyway, let's just say their parents were very, 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 very busy. Cousins and uncles. Yeah, they run everything almost in this little small cactus town. I don't know the name of it. I just know that there's a town there full of cactuses. And the wife of his uncle, his auntie, she owned a saloon there, right? And in this saloon, they had a karaoke night. You know what I'm saying? Every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central, 6 Pacific. Yeah, that's a joke. I'll give you a second to laugh on that one. Yeah, Bulldozer. He would go in there and he'd sing. Did you know he had a voice before he didn't have a voice? Yeah, there was a Kairos thing. Kairos and, Lex, they had this story going round that Spike had a voice for a while, right? It was Lex, yeah, it was Lexi. I know Lex and our buddies. And he told that story of him singing, right? He had a voice. He'd sing the ballads, you know what I'm saying? He could sing from what I heard. That's what they told me. He sang like the great R&B ballads. He loved like Marvin Gaye, Al Green, And when he felt frisky, he'd sing a little Luther Vandross. Bulldozer. Now here, he could let it all hang out, you know what I'm saying? Thorns and all. For everyone to see. No fear. He just shaboot-a-dang, sing, cactus, Spike, sing. You know what I'm saying? I know what you're saying. Spike doesn't have a voice. But, hey, this is before he lost his voice, right? That's that whole penguin debacle. That old penguin thing, Mr. P. So, it must have been traumatized or something. I don't know. He couldn't sing or talk anymore. This karaoke place was the best, though. It had floor lights and sound and colors and even had those mirror balls that they hang from the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? They had those mirror balls. They reflect the light everywhere. Bulldozer, anyway. As a sheriff, he had a really good rep in the town. Everybody loved him because he sang and did all this stuff and protected the town. You know what I mean? He always protected the town. The town was his family. That's what I like about the guy. I don't like him very much. But if there's one thing that the boy likes about the Spike, he's a family man. Bulldozer. He takes care of the town. After he lost his voice, all he had to do was just point here and two people would do that and he'd point over there and people would do his laundry and then he'd, point up on the top of the building and, they go climb up the water tower. You know what I'm saying? climb up the water tower and turn on the water spigots so everybody could live and survive because cactuses need water. You know what I'm saying? That's right, bulldozer. Bull's thinking. So one day, while all this has been going on, this guy came into town. He wasn't a good guy. You know what I mean? What he did was, make friends with everybody. He looked like the nicest guy in the whole world. All polished up and had a good haircut, and knew that he was gonna be good for the town, He was gonna open up, let's say, his own music shop or something, That way, the Spike, he could go there too and, kind of express himself by listening, maybe dancing. I hear he's a hoofer. That means he's a dancer. I heard he could pop and clock, Yeah, pop a clock. Like that. I don't know, it's just what I heard. Anyway, this guy, he's decided he's gonna take a business loan out, right? And open up a music store. But little did the Spikers know, it was a front for weapons. We all us brawlers know about the weapons, right? But he knew he was dealing in weaponry out in the back door. He didn't want the Spike to know, because Spike's the sheriff, right? So one day, Spike is out there, and this guy, he wore sunglasses, had a really smooth haircut, and he always had a jam box on his shoulder, or some kind of rocket launcher. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah, it's the Brock. Yeah, the Brock came to town. He's a smooth-talking guy. Everybody loved the Brock, but he had something nefarious going on in the back. And I think it was up to no good. I think the Brock was up to no good. So, this is, nothing is firing upstairs for the Spikers. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is firing. So, he's not thinking. He doesn't put it all together because Brock is good at what he does. You know what I'm saying? Bulldozer. He's taking all this town off guard with his suave and his debonair attitude. He makes everybody love him. While everybody doesn't have his eye on him. One night, the Brock walks out the back of his shop, right? And he's got something in for the Spikes. I know he does for Spike. He's got something in for this place. I don't know why. I ain't figured it out yet. But he takes some of his armaments, his battery of firearms, pretty much dynamite, okay? He's got some dynamite. So he's in the middle of the night, walking up to the water tower that I talked about earlier. Up to the water tower. He set some dynamite charges at the top, real quiet like, so nobody'll know. And then he comes back down, and he sets 3 more charges at the base. So that, when it blows up, the tower falls over, and the water just gushes everywhere and floods the town. And then because it's the desert, and it's hot, you know what I'm saying? It's hot. It's hot. I'm telling you, it's hot. So the water would evaporate. So he set all these charges, right? So he walks back, and like nothing's happening. Nobody sees him because it's late at night, and it's really dark out there. and he has clothing on that disguises him. You know, he's wearing black hat, black jackets, everything. Day turns to night, night turns to day turns to night again, and the day comes around when those spikers has to turn the water on a little bit, because the cactus, all these spikers need the water, okay? They need the water. So they turn on the spigot, and sure enough, Brock has got it wired to where it explodes. Kablooey, kablam, kablooey. And then the water tower starts to fall over, splashing water, and then it hits the ground and splash. This water goes everywhere, just everywhere. I'm talking everywhere. It floods the the bathhouses, because cactuses have to bathe too, They get dirty, they gotta bathe. So they have bathhouses, and the saloon, and the library, and the kindergarten, and the city hall all got flooded. They all got flooded. Yeah, they all get flooded. Even the bank got flooded. So all the money, I think that's what happened, is that he meant for it to flood so he could rob the bank. Because when it ran out, everybody got their spikes, their roots, into the ground. You know what I mean? To drink up the water, because they didn't want to waste it, right? So they didn't want to waste it. So they all stuck their roots into the ground, because that's how cactuses drink, right? They stand there, and the roots grow from the bottom, from their feet, into the ground, and it anchors them there. You know what I mean? It anchors them into the sand. So once they're anchored, they can't go nowhere. They're landlocked, literally. They're root locked into the ground. And here comes Brooke with his over-the-shoulder rocket holder, walking into the bank. No one can stop him. Spike is glued to the ground. The sheriff of the town didn't have a contingency plan. Nothing like that. Had no contingency plan. Nothing. No plan B. You know what I'm saying? Bulldozer. So he walks into the bank. The safe was already open, because it's that time of morning when they open the safes, all the locks. He got in there, got all the money. Every bit. All the money they earned from the karaoke that Spike did back in his day when he could sing. They took all that money that these people were saving up to build, something new. Maybe a new water tower. I don't know. Maybe it could have been an amusement park or something. But hey, we got those where I'm from. Got a little place called Coney Island. Yeah, I love Coney Island. They have the best hot dogs there. Bulldozer. Anyway, he gets all the money, and then he finds a boat, and then he just rides off into the sunset. What are they supposed to do? They have to wait for the ground to dry before they can go chase him down. Oh, this is a fine mess. A terrible mess. So the water recedes after, because it's so hot. It's hot. I mean, hot. All that water evaporates. And then their feet start to loosen up from the ground, because they've got their fill of water. They're hoping it's gonna last them for a while, Anyway, they have to get together. So everyone, the Sheriff Spike, gets them all together in the town hall, right? And they have to get a posse together which means the Spike has to volunteer people to say, hey, gonna go get the Brook, right? Bulldozer. That's right. So, the only way he can speak to them is draw on a chalkboard, right? So he draws out the message and tells them what to do. Because nobody can really speak either, because they all are like Spike. They all can't talk anymore. So, Spike gets the message together. He draws a map, and they get together, and they somehow, I think they can run fast or something. I don't think they have horses because, I mean, think about it. Spike's on a horse, forget about it. He could kill the horse. Either that or stick him real bad, and he'd bleed to death, like a stupid horse would if you stuck him with a stick, That's bad. Bulldozer. Anyway, so they get together, and they know where the Brook went. They saw him leave. So he had, maybe a day ahead ride ahead of him, right? So he was on a boat, but now he's on foot, because, the water didn't last that long. But he got a long way. Anyway, so they start after him. They're all on foot, so they all have this, water energy from drinking all the water, and it makes them strong, and they can, like a camel, and they can go for days. They can go for days storing that water up inside of them, so they can, go a long time. So they're all running, okay? They're all running together to go catch up with the Brook. Now the Brook, he's a smart guy. He's very slick, but he's kinda dumb. You know what I'm saying? So he decides, hey, these people can't catch me. They're stuck in the ground. They can't come catch the Brook. So he's taking a nap right beside a big rock. They're like a day's ride behind him, right? So they're chugging along. Hours are going by. Brook is relaxing, He doesn't know what's going on. He's just relaxing. And the Spikes are running and running and running as fast as their little legs will carry them. You know what I'm saying? I can see a Spike running down the road. He's a little... I just got a funny picture in my head of Spike running down the road. Yeah, I'm about to crack up. Yeah. I can see him running. I can see the more. I can see the Spike. I'm glad I got that out of my system. Oh well. Anyway, Bulldozer. So the Brook has been taking a nap, right? And the Spikes they're chugging their little legs. Hours go by. This Brook is getting cocky, He thinks, I'm okay. Ain't nobody gonna come and get me. I got all this money. So several hours go by, right? And we don't realize how fast these Spikers can run. But evidently they can run pretty fast. And the Brook has kind of overestimated his strength here, thinking that he can get away with this. So he starts to run himself. And he doesn't have anything, He had a boat, but now he's on foot. And he can run, but he ain't running. He's just taking his own sweet time with the money in a bag over his shoulder, thinking, hey, I got it made. In the shade. Anyway, Ain't nobody gonna come do anything to me. The brook has got it made. So the spikers have a plan. They're running, right? And in the distance, they finally see their prey, the brook. He wasn't wearing all black this time, like he was on, like in the nighttime when he was turning to setting up the dynamites. He was wearing his colors, man, bright like peacock colors, So he was walking down there, and the spikes stop, and they figure out, hey, they draw lines, or they can't speak. So he's drawing a story, telling them what to do in the sand, in the dirt. So the spikes, all of them, got together because he basically deputized the whole town. And you know what I said before when he had his grandfather and his grandfather, blah, 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 blah. That's a lot of family. Even if they don't last long, they still got a lot of family. They're boomers. Yeah, boomers, bulldozers. Anyway, so they come up with the plan to surround the brook, right? And so because they're cactus, they kind of camouflage with the desert. I don't know how that works, but that's what they do, okay? Trust me on this. They camouflage. So they kind of start to surround him. He's walking, they're running. He's walking, they're running. You can get the picture. They're almost in front of him. And before he knows it, he's surrounded. He didn't even see them coming. He didn't hear them because they got plant feet and stuff. They're like sneakers in the sand. It's real quiet. So they surround him. The Brock, I called him Brook. The Brock, he's frozen there. He doesn't know what to do. So right there, Spike walks up and looks at him and draws a long, short line in the sand. That doesn't make sense, does it? He just drew a line in front of the sand, giving Brock the option to walk over the line to him, give him the money back, and they'll forgive him. Nice and neat. But if he didn't choose to walk over the line, if he doesn't, then they're gonna all throw their spikes at him. They're gonna throw spike yards everywhere, and he'll be stuck there like a thorn bush. You know what I mean? They're not gonna stab him or nothing, but he'll be stuck like a jail in the middle of the desert with thorns everywhere, all around him, going skoo, 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 skoo. That's what it sounds like when they throw their thorns at people. Skoo, skoo. So they gave him the option, and they waited. And then, because he wanted to save himself from a fate worse than death, he stepped over the line to Spike, gave Spike the money back, every last dime, and he put his over-the-shoulder rocket holder down on the ground as a sign of good faith. So they took the money, they took the Brock, and they all went back to town. And this is where the story gets good. They make Brock pay for getting the water tower back up because, he's like a good thing for that guy to do. He stole all their money. So they picked up the water tower and fixed it. But he kept his store open. He kept his music store open. Because you know why? The Spike loves music. He loved to sing. And the Brook, we didn't know this, the Brook can sing. He can sing like Luther Vandross. You should hear him. So they started the karaoke night up again. And Spike was always there. Sad 'cause he couldn't sing. But the Brook, who made such bad decisions, made a good decision to come back and start the karaoke and sing like Spike can't anymore. So the Brook did that. I like the Brook. He's a bit dodgy, but that's a good ending to a story. The end. Thank you for listening to Bull ASMR Storytime. This is the Bull Bulldozer.